Good morning. It's Monday in the nation's capital, and I don't know if you realize this is my third broadcast of the day already because I do one for Facebook and Twitter, Periscope before this, so you can always check out our pages there and see the slight differences because I don't ever quite do each one the same. Anyway, news over the weekend: London terror attack. Another instance here: 7 killed, 36 injured, 20 critically. Terrible attack. This one didn't involve a bomb, but it involved a truck, a van coming down over London Bridge, mowing people down. Perpetrators knifing innocent civilians, tourists on the bridge and over in the Burroughs Market. This death toll may rise a little bit by the time all is said and done. But once again, a terrible thing. Prime Minister Theresa May has come out and condemned these attacks, of course, and so they're going to take a much tougher stance, in the future. Now, this is the third attack in less than 3 months in the UK. They definitely have a problem. They are definitely extremely susceptible and very vulnerable. I know it puts some people on edge. I got a friend of mine out there who's traveling to Denmark. She's in Denmark, but will also be traveling to London. We'll have some free time. Things should die down enough and get back to normal, but the citizens of in the UK need to be ever vigilant here, is that there are people who've been behind this, have been seemingly innocuous, good people, as the way it kind of turns out, at least on the surface, while they've been plotting, kind of assimilating themselves, putting themselves into society, and then bammo, they come out and they do this. So they really need to watch and see what's going on. But this is what happens when you have a freer, more open border policy. President Trump got into a little bit of a scuffle, kerfuffle, whatever you want to call it, on Twitter when he tweeted out about this and the need for the U.S. travel ban. And remember, this is just a temporary travel ban that he's got set up. And so it's one of those things where several of the countries on that list are state sponsors of terrorism. We just want to be sure we're not letting those kind of people in. Great Britain does not have that same check and balance on who's coming in, and this is what's partially responsible for the problems that they're having here with terrorism. Sadiq Khan, the Muslim mayor of London, got into a little bit with President Trump, and is also now hiding behind his faith, in essence, that he's been given the protection of his faith to try to give himself immunity from any attacks or criticism from anyone, including President Trump, for what he says or what he does. And that's just not fair. But he's going to do it. He's going to take advantage of it because the liberals are protecting him in that sense. Moving on, in conjunction with those, Reza Aslan, CNN host, tweeted out that as a result of this, that President Trump is a piece of S, and you know what that rest of those words are, the letters are. He has since apologized, saying that he lost his cool. That is not the kind of language that he uses. But if I checked on Twitchy and found out that they had several instances of where Aslan has used the same exact language in terms of the same words, directed at other conservatives, to just use Sean Hannity among others. So this is not a one-and-done incident. He has done this before. He will probably do it again. So CNN ought to really reconsider about their employment of this individual. That also goes to Time Warner, which is also HBO, I should say, owned by Time Warner, which also owns CNN, with regard to Bill Maher, who's having an interview with Senator Ben Sasse from Nebraska. Senator Sasse talked about working in the fields. He's talking about the cornfields, the crops, the things that they grow in Nebraska. Maher tried to make another point with that and try and turn that into what I call plantation politics. And he said, something to the effect that he wanted to become the House, and then he used the N-word. That didn't sit well, not only with just conservatives, but with liberals, who will tend to be much more upset with the use of that pejorative word, and this is nowhere near what Sasse was going after, but Maher tried to turn it into something else, but there's no punishment for his use of this. I mean, even liberal Democrats have come out and and blasted Maher for using that inflammatory language. I'm going to go back and say about Ariana Grande too. Thank her for holding that benefit concert, sold-out concert. Not sure how much money it raised, but that helps a little bit with some of the pain and suffering that the individuals who were injured in the Manchester attacks have suffered. And if you lost a loved one, there is nothing, there is no price that will ever substitute for losing a loved one. Just no way, shape, or form. Can that happen? Also, I'll do a couple more things here. Kathy Griffin held her press conference, basically calling the Trump family out for bullying her, and there's a bunch of old white men that are trying to ruin her career. I'm sorry, you started this, Kathy, with your ridiculous, holding the severed head of Donald Trump, bloody severed head of Donald Trump, and you started this whole thing, so you cannot be the victim. But of course, you're going to try that because you've got Gloria Allred's daughter as your attorney, and liberals are famous for playing the victimization card when they started the whole thing. So we're hoping that Kathy is finished here, at least with her rants, and people will just not pay her any more mind. We're certainly pretty much done with this as well, except just to talk about the ridiculous nature of what she's doing. A couple more things. Al Gore is back, criticizing President Trump on the Paris climate agreement withdrawal, calling him reckless. But what's reckless is Trump out there promoting the idea of climate change and global warming, and that the country would be underwater if we didn't do something fast. Those things have not come to pass, and they're looking to raise money off the ad. Certainly not going to get my nickel. Anyway, also, and then finally, if you have seen the parody Maxine Waters Twitter account, which is actually two V's made to look like a W, delete your posts, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. It's a fake account. If you didn't realize that when that tweet came out about supporting her Muslim brothers in London and things like that, then you were definitely just not paying enough attention and just too easily duped. And both the left and the right were duped by this account, and there's nothing apparently that prevents a parody account from existing or continuing. But maybe outright lies, maybe the whole thing that they're doing. Twitter should maybe reevaluate the terms of service and see if this parody account hasn't violated something, or institute a policy that you can maybe even go back and say retroactively and just shut that account down. I'll always find another way to get it out on Twitter, but this account is becoming a little bit more dangerous, I think, along the way. Anyway, have a great day. We will see you again tomorrow morning for the morning report. Also, you'll see the Bias Buzz podcast appear a little bit later in the day, but we'll be hosting that tomorrow, a day early, so I can go travel and see my grandkids. So I'm up for a very short work week, but an enjoyable week nevertheless, and I'll be working even on my vacation because that's what I do. All right, have a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.